Hearing in federal court today will determine whether or not a gag order is imposed on Donald Trump in his election interference case. Prosecutors want to bar the former president from making what they say are inflammatory and intimidating comments about lawyers and witnesses. Trump's lawyers call it censorship. Congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now with more on today's hearing. Scott, thanks for joining us. So what is the special counsel Jack Smith asking for?
A partial gag order. Vladdy wants the court to order former President Trump to stop targeting through his social media posts or campaign speeches any witnesses, the judge herself, the prosecutors. He wants them to ensure the former president doesn't taint the jury pool here in the District of Columbia. This is still set for trial on March 4th. It's still the first of the Trump criminal trials on the schedule. And Jack Smith has made some unambiguous arguments that Trump's social media posts and his rhetoric on the stump is not only contaminating the jury pool, but designed to do so. The arguments today are in front of the judge herself, Judge Tanya Chutkan. And what I think is really at stake here, Anne-Marie and Vlad, is not just a practical issue, but more of one of principle. I mean, the special counsel wants to avoid this case getting tainted, but the real stakes here are whether a presidential candidate can have his or her speech limited by a judge during a campaign. Trump has made this criminal case and his criminal prosecutions a key component of his campaign. If the judge limits what he says, it seems like it's almost on a guaranteed fast track to the U.S. Supreme Court on appeal.
I agree with you because I thought, the way Donald Trump speaks often, there's often sort of sometimes doublespeak or he can be a little crafty. And I would think it would be very difficult to sort of set hard and fast rules about what he can and cannot say.
Except unless he's
specifically naming people,
and perhaps even calling to action his supporters.
Definitely.
When it comes to either the lawyers or the juries or people that have nothing to do with politics.
Yes, but I wonder if he's vague, if he just, what
the
can
language
be
is
done.
vague enough, right?
Yes. So what's the response that we're getting from Trump's team?
Yeah, Trump's team has argued this gag order is too broad. They call it like a fire hose versus something that is strategic and narrow. They're going to argue that it's a chilling effect on the former president and that it's strategic and political by the prosecution, that they're trying to knock out a political candidate through the gag order. Jack Smith's argument is that not only is Trump's rhetoric damaging to the case, but they argue it's threatening to the witnesses. When he names names, when he referenced that Mark Milley, Joint Chiefs of Staff chair under the Trump presidency, would have been executed in another time, in another way. Jack Smith pointed to that Truth Social post and said that's threatening. He's also noted that Trump has named Jack Smith himself, calling him a, quote, lunatic, referenced the judge, calling her an Obama appointee who's a Trump hater. Really, this is not equivocation by the former president. He's naming names, and what Jack Smith's going to argue through the course of this day and in future filings is that this chills future witnesses, makes them disinclined to come forward if they know they're going to be targeted by Trump's speech, which is why this is such a pivotal motion in the first case on the docket.
So the question, I think, becomes how would you, Scott, or I, or Anne-Marie be treated by a judge if we were in similar circumstances? Removing the fact that it's a former president of the United States, part of the beauty of our country, and is that no one is above the law, not even a former president of the United States. So what does the special counsel have to do to establish the case for the judge to approve this gag order?
It's a great question, Vlad, because the judge has said in so many words she's going to treat Trump like every other criminal defendant who comes in front of her. And she has said in a previous case that Trump is not a king and he's not even the president any longer. The Judge Tanya Chutkan has already laid a foundation. She's going to treat Trump like anybody else. And anybody else who violates a gag order and is deemed to be threatening possible witnesses faces the prospect of pretrial detention. Now, that is such a provocative notion with a former U.S. president. But this judge has been the most vocal in her denunciations of the January 6th attack among the judges who've handled those cases, and she's had the strictest sentences in January 6th defendants. This is a stern judge when tackling matters involving January 6th, which makes this hearing today all the more fascinating.
All right, Scott, thank you very much.